Before Black Widow hit the big screen, and before Carol Danvers soared through the stars, there was Jessica Drew, the original Spider-Woman. She's a Hydra experiment, a super spy, and one of the most underrated powerhouses in Marvel history. With venom blasts, flight, and a backstory darker than most MCU villains, Jessica Drew was long overdue for her moment. In this video, we're breaking down exactly why Spider-Woman would crush in the MCU, how she could be introduced, and who should play her. Welcome to Spider-Man Explained, the place where we dive into the wildest stories and characters from across the Spider-Verse. If you want to see more forgotten legends like Jessica Drew get their spotlight, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. Spider-Woman. Just hearing the name, you might think she's some kind of Spider-Man sidekick, or maybe just a gender-flipped version of Peter Parker swinging through New York. But Jessica Drew is nothing like that. In fact, she's got the darkest, most intense origin stories in all of Marvel Comics, and she's been flying under the radar for way too long. Jessica's story starts with tragedy. As a child, she was exposed to massive levels of uranium, radiation poisoning that should have killed her. But her father, a brilliant but morally gray scientist working for Hydra, injected her with an experimental serum based on, you guessed it, spider DNA. They locked her in a stasis chamber to slow the damage. And by the time she woke up, decades had passed. The world had moved on, but Jessica was frozen in time, alone, confused, and with abilities that didn't feel entirely human. And Hydra wasn't done with her. While Peter Parker got to grow up with Aunt May and swing through Queens as a teenager, Jessica was trained to be a living weapon. Hydra molded her into a spy, loyal only to them, and sent her on assassination missions across the world. She was a sleeper agent, a tool of terror, until she broke free. Now let that sink in. She's not a hero because she wanted to be. She's a hero because she survived everything that tried to break her. That right there, that's MCU gold. You want a character with emotional depth, complicated loyalties, and enough action potential to headline her own trilogy. Jessica Drew checks every box. The MCU has touched on spies with Black Widow, and they've shown what trauma looks like with characters like Wanda and Bucky. But Jessica? She's both. She's got trauma, she's got power, and she's got unfinished business with organizations like Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D., and even S.W.O.R.D. This is a character that could connect the grounded espionage side of the MCU with the cosmic madness of the multiverse, and still stand out on her own. And let's be real, audiences love anti-heroes. Jessica's not perfect. She's made bad choices. She's been used, manipulated, and even cloned. But through it all, she's kept fighting. And that resilience, that makes her dangerous. That makes her compelling. That makes her necessary. Now let's talk about her abilities. Because Jessica Drew doesn't just bring drama. She brings serious firepower. Alright, let's break down the power set. Because Jessica Drew's abilities are not just another spider bite. Nah, this is something special. We all know Peter Parker's powers, wall crawling, super strength, and the Spidey sense. But Jessica, she's packing all of that, and then some. First off, her strength is no joke. She's physically stronger than Peter, able to go toe-to-toe with some of Marvel's heavy hitters, like the Hulk, Thor, and even Venom. You think Spider-Man's webbing can stop a moving train? Imagine Jessica taking it down with just a punch. But that's not where her powers end. Remember, she was genetically altered by Hydra. That means she has a few tricks Peter doesn't. Jessica's venom blasts are one of her most deadliest weapons. These bioelectric blasts can incapacitate her enemies in an instant. Think about that for a second. She doesn't just rely on her physical strength. She's got the kind of ranged attack that could knock out an entire squadron of enemies without breaking a sweat. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk about flight. Yes, Spider-Woman can fly. She doesn't just swing through the city like Peter does. She can soar above it all. Imagine the visuals of Jessica Drew soaring across the skyline, weaving between skyscrapers while blasting venom charges at any threat below. Can you picture that on screen? Because I definitely can. And let's not forget about her agility. She's as fast and nimble as any other spider hero, if not more so. Her reflexes are superhuman, allowing her to dodge bullets, missiles, and yes, even spiders. But here's the kicker. Unlike Peter, who was often held back by moral compass and his needs to protect those he loves, Jessica's been hardened by betrayal and pain. She doesn't hold back. She's the kind of hero who will do what's necessary to get the job done. Whether it's risking her life to stop a Hydra operation, or dismantling a dangerous alien invasion, Jessica Drew isn't afraid to get her hands dirty. Her emotional complexity makes her powers even more impactful. Imagine her grappling with the weight of her past, Hydra's manipulation, her forced servitude, and her eventual redemption, all while wielding enough power to reshape the world around her. That's what sets Jessica apart from Spider-Man. She's not fighting for a normal life or struggling with responsibility. She's fighting for her own redemption and the future of the people she cares about. Now, with all this power, Jessica needs a face to carry it. So, who should play Spider-Woman in the MCU? Let's dive into the top fan cast picks. Alright, we've talked about why Spider-Woman deserves to be in the MCU and what makes her powers so lethal. But what's the next big question? Who's going to bring this complex, multifaceted hero to life? The fan casting for Jessica Drew is wild, and honestly, it's hard to narrow down. But here are a few names that might just be the perfect fit for this powerhouse. First up, what about Gina Rodriguez? Fans have been pushing for her for a while now. She's got the acting chops, the physicality, and the intensity to bring Jessica's emotional range to life. Gina can nail the tough-as-nails assassin side, while also capturing the vulnerability Jessica carries from her past. Plus, she's already shown that she can take on action roles, so watching her kick some serious ass in the MCU wouldn't be a stretch. Second, how about Janelle Monáe? We're talking about someone who has the ability to play strong, vulnerable, and complex all in one. Janelle's got the range. She's done it all, acting, singing, and slaying on screen. Her ability to command the screen, combined with her fierce presence, would make her an incredible Jessica Drew. Picture her in a scene, gritty, intense, venom blast at the ready, and you'll see it. She's Spider-Woman. And we can't forget about Jessica Chastain. She's already no stranger to high-stakes roles and complex characters. With her wide range of acting, from action-packed films like The Huntsman to more emotional dramas like Interstellar, Jessica could bring that layer of depth to Spider-Woman. Plus, she's got the strength and poise to carry Jessica's backstory of pain, power, and redemption. But here's the game changer. What about Ana de Armas? After her breakout performance in Blade Runner 2049 and her intense role in No Time to Die, Ana has proven she can handle high-action sequences and bring an emotional depth to her characters. With her already established star power and undeniable on-screen presence, Ana could inject Spider-Woman with a level of mystery and intensity that would make her instantly captivating. Imagine her with that fierce, calculating gaze, flying through the city, venom blast at the ready. It's a perfect fit. But here's the kicker. Jessica Drew needs someone who can embody not just the physicality, but also the emotional weight of her story. Whether it's her rage against Hydra, her quest for identity, or the moments of vulnerability she shows when she bonds with her family and allies, whoever takes on this role has to be able to balance Jessica's deadly side with her softer, more vulnerable moments. So now that we've picked out who could play her, let's talk about how Spider-Woman can be introduced into the MCU. What's the best way for Marvel to bring Jessica Drew into the fold? Alright, so we've talked about why Spider-Woman deserves to be in the MCU, her insane powers, and even who could bring her to life on screen. Now the big question is, how does Jessica Drew get introduced into the MCU? How does Marvel bring her character to the screen in a way that feels fresh, powerful, and pivotal to the larger Marvel universe? Let's set the stage. We know that MCU is deep in multiverse territory with characters like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and even low-key hopping between worlds. So, why not have Spider-Woman make her debut in a way that aligns with this multiversal chaos? Option 1. Jessica could appear in a secretive spy operation, maybe working for S.H.I.E.L.D., or even in opposition to them. Imagine this, the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, and the multiverse have sent shockwaves through reality. Suddenly, strange occurrences start happening, leading the Avengers to investigate these interdimensional rifts. Enter Spider-Woman. She's not a friendly face right away. In fact, she could be fighting against them, not fully trusting anyone. She's lived her whole life in the shadows, betrayed by Hydra, hunted by powerful enemies, and maybe even sees the Avengers as just another threat. But over time, she realizes they might be the only ones who can help her with her own battle. This gives us an opportunity to explore Jessica's trust issues, her fear of being used and manipulated again. And let's not forget, this is a character who thrives in the morally gray. She might even initially go head-to-head with characters like Black Widow or Falcon before realizing she's not the enemy. Option 2. We could see her debut in a smaller-scale solo movie, And I mean smaller scale in the sense that it focuses on the spy thriller aspect, but with massive stakes. Think Winter Soldier meets Mission Impossible. Jessica Drew as a rogue agent on a mission to bring down an illegal Hydra operation, where she uncovers larger forces at play. Forces that link to the MCU's bigger threats, like the multiverse or even Kang the Conqueror. This solo film could set up her personal stakes, showing us the woman behind the powers, her drive, her sense of justice, and the sacrifices she's made to be who she is. And that's another interesting angle. Jessica's relationship with her own morality. The MCU already has tons of morally complex heroes, but Jessica has lived in a world where she's been manipulated and made to do awful things. Her redemption arc is far more than just about taking down bad guys. It's about herself and finding her place in a world that's not always black and white. That story would resonate. Lastly, we can't forget about how important team dynamics are in the MCU. Spider-Man has always been parts of teams like the Avengers and the West Coast Avengers. So after establishing her solo film or mini-arc, it's only natural that she would get involved in larger team-ups. Picture her joining forces with characters like Captain Marvel, Black Panther, or Spider-Man himself, becoming a key player in fighting off threats that none of them can handle alone. And there you have it, Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, is more than ready for her place in the MCU. Whether it's through her powerful, unique abilities, her morally complex journey, or the incredible actresses who could bring her to life, there's no doubt that Jessica has the potential to be one of the most compelling characters in the Marvel Universe. So, how would you like to see Spider-Woman introduced into the MCU? Who's your dream casting choice? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you're excited as I am about the idea of Spider-Woman making her MCU debut, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and ring the bell so you never miss any of our upcoming content here on Spider-Man Explained. Thanks for watching, and as always, webheads, keep swinging.